I decided to take you for a walk while we have a look at the things that have happened in La Liga this weekend. The 5 things that I think have been important in La Liga this weekend. Starting with Messi. I think the words from Simeone in the press conference tell you everything you need to know. If Messi had played for Atletico Madrid, we would have won 1-0. What he's trying to say, of course, is that, well, things were very tight, and of course Messi was the big difference. And he's partly right, not fully. But Messi scored his 600th professional goal. Amazing. He's been 13 years in the elite. And in fact, somebody's trying to count all the goals, including the as a youth player, and he's 1,000 and something. We still don't know exactly what the something is, but he's over 1,000 already. So, yes, he's partly right, Simeone, in saying that Messi was the difference, because of course before the goal, the free kick, by the way, yet another record, the 3rd time or the 3rd game in a row in which he scores a free kick. Cristiano's never done that, Rivaldo's never done that, Ronaldinho's never done that, Asuncao, Duda, all these specialists in free kicks in La Liga have never done that. So yes, it's true that all was very tight, but I feel Simeone got it a little bit wrong. Tell you what, no, we'll talk about that later. Let's stay with Messi. Free kicks. Let me tell you a couple of stories that will tell you how he's learned to do what he's done. When he first came into the first team of Barcelona, he actually would sit on the sidelines and watch the likes of Ronaldinho and Deco take free kicks. And then he would take them barefooted, take his boots off and will take it barefooted, because he felt that was the best way to connect with the ball, to have a relationship with the ball, to develop that relationship with the ball. But that wasn't enough. And in 2009, when Maradona was the national coach of Argentina, he got an advice from Maradona. Messi was taking free kicks, it wasn't working for him, he was going very high or to the sides, 2 or 3 meters, it wasn't working for him. So he was just going to the changing rooms with his head down, and Maradona said, hold on, stay there. And he was saying, you tried to kick it too early. The feet tries to connect with the ball too early. What you have to do is kind of cushion it, get the feet closer to the ball, and then have a relationship with the ball. Tell the ball what you want to do. If you just kick it too early, the ball won't know what you want to do, what you want the ball to do. So Maradona was actually talking to Messi as if the ball was a person. So Messi applied that, and you can see that he only hits it right at the last moment. He kind of cushions the ball. It's something that you have to see very, very closely, but he was following the advice of Maradona. Number 2, that has to be, of course, Simeone's tactics against Barcelona. And I think he got it wrong. Everybody, and myself, others, have been having a close look at Barcelona. What we saw was a tired Barcelona in the last few weeks. Hence 4 draws in 8 games, 4 victories, 4 draws, and just the feeling that they struggled a little bit. And they struggled because they played a lot of matches, but in this particular one, because actually they had less than, I think, 60 odd hours of rest since the Las Palmas game. And Busquets at the end of the game, he complained. He said, when you don't rest enough, and they arrive at 5 o'clock in the morning on the Friday, basically, you know, we struggle. And he was trying to say, oh yeah, nice, eh? I hope the wind is not affecting this, but it's very windy, so I might just go that way again. Anyway, Busquets was saying, muscles, by the way, it could be too noisy. I'll go back. Say goodbye to the pitch. Bye. Busquets was saying that the team was tired, and that if this is the best league in the world, they should show that. And of course, Las Palmas and Barcelona had played on Saturday, so they could have easily played on Wednesday, not Thursday. Anyway, muscles recover after 72 hours, and this was 60 odd in which Barcelona were forced to play since the previous game. In fact, last time they played with less than 72 hours of rest was against Getafe Espanyol, 2 draws, and against Alaves, and that was a 2-1 that Alaves could have taken more out of. So yes, they were tired, and Simeone went to contain Barcelona in the first half and to go at them in the second one. But to be honest, neither worked. But you wonder why Simeone did not try from the beginning to actually pressure high and have the go that he did have in the second half, perhaps with Correa in the lineup instead of the 4 centre midfielders that he's so keen to use often. So it didn't work, partly because Barcelona defended so well. More on that a little bit later. But the bright note from Atletico Madrid is, of course, Jimenez. So Jimenez was fantastic. Jimenez was is in my eyes one of the top centre-backs in the world right now. And keep an eye to what he does, the little details of what he does. He actually spoke before the game that he thinks he knows what you have to do against Messi. And what you have to do, he was saying, is give him his right-hand side, the left-hand side of the defender, force him to go that way, because it's harder for him to take decisions. It's Messi though. But then only go at him at the last second, just before he takes his own decision, Messi's decision on what to do. And that's what he did a couple of times. Changing my hand again. A couple of times, and it worked. It worked against Luis Suarez, it worked against Coutinho. Jimenez was outstanding. He's even a better defender now than Godin is. So, that was Atletico Madrid. Let's go to the next issue coming from La Liga. 3, and it has to be how Barcelona worked hard as a team. It was fantastic to see, especially in the second half. You could see them suffering. They couldn't come out into the counter. They didn't keep the ball for so long. But especially in the first half, of course, they attacked and were in the last third of Atletico Madrid. And when they lost the ball, they didn't allow Atletico Madrid to come out from their own half. It was fantastic. They had to play it long, and they made a lot of mistakes that way. And they created enough chances. Coutinho was better suited when he moved on the left-hand side. Because of the injury of Iniesta, by the way, he could be out for weeks and may miss Chelsea. Bad news for Barcelona. Coutinho was better on the left-hand side, but still doesn't know exactly what to do. He still doesn't know where to defend. He still doesn't know that Alba is always going to be there, especially if he's obviously on the left-hand side, attacking on the left-hand side. He will always have that option, Alba. In one opportunity, should have handed it over to him, hand the ball to him. He didn't do so, and it was a missed chance for Barcelona. He will get better, no doubt about that, but he's a forward, remember. He's not a midfielder. He's not a replacement to Iniesta, not yet anyway. And I'm not sure it will ever happen, but certainly he will adapt to Barcelona as time goes on. 4, Real Madrid will have to face PSG. Modric and Kroos are actually now in the side. It was a bit of a rehearsal for Real Madrid in the league, with the exception, of course, that some of the top players were rested. Ronaldo, for instance, has only completed 1 game in the last 5, but he scored 14 goals in the last 8 games, which means that he's on top form. And he's in the form that he wants at this stage of the season. That's what he likes to do. He did that last season, it worked very well. So obviously Ronaldo will play, Benzema will play. What's going to be interesting is who plays alongside all them. Would it be Modric and Kroos? I think it will be maybe one of them. And Lucas Vázquez has earned the possibility of starting on the right-hand side, Casemiro in the middle as well, and then Asensio or Bale. That will be the decision on the left-hand side. That's what I think. PSG feel that actually they have enough to beat Real Madrid, even without Neymar. Why do they come out with that conclusion? They feel that it's more of a solid team, especially defending when Neymar is not there. There's more clear the roles of everybody when Neymar is not there as well. Di Maria will be comfortably suited to that left-hand side of the attack, and he will also work hard to defend, harder even than Neymar. So they think they've got a very good chance to beat this Real Madrid. Of course, the arrival of Neymar to PSG has unbalanced things within the squad, and that's not fully sorted. So it will be a PSG that will feel confidently that they're going to be a unit. And with that in mind, PSG, of course, can score 2 goals. They can score 2 goals against Real Madrid. That always gives you a chance. What a game. And not a clear outcome of it. Not at all. Remember that Real Madrid have been switching on and off. And that doesn't always work when you are playing against a team, an elite team like PSG is. In my eyes, because they're playing at home, PSG are favourites. But this is Real Madrid, of course. 5. Muniz of Levante has been sacked. And this is an interesting one because you're going to see some things that I'm going to say that will remind you of a club in England. Because he, of course, was the hero of Levante. Glorious way to go up from the 2nd division last season, and he did it in a way that not everybody was in love with him, but they saw that he was the perfect representative of the club. He worked really hard, made the team work really hard as well. Not a style that is defined by the attitude of the players and the commitment more than anything else, but they managed to get that way a promotion to the 1st division. And they started well, 9 points out of 15. They drew against Valencia, they drew against Real Madrid, they beat Villarreal, but of course after that it was a really bad run, the worst run of Levante in their history. But they never beat a bottom 3. They never been in the bottom 3. They only now, I think, 1 point away from Las Palmas in the bottom 3, but they're not bottom 3. Certainly they could have beaten Espanyol, and it wasn't fair. Espanyol played better. The performance of Espanyol deserved more, but the goal came in the minute 91 with the 1-1, and 2 weeks after Levante had said to Muniz, "You're staying," they actually decided to get rid of him. If that goal had not arrived and Levante had won 1-0, even though they didn't deserve it, what would they have done? What I mean is, and Muniz has insisted on that, for 3 months people in Levante have felt pessimistic. That's obviously based in results, not so much in performances, because they had good games but they didn't have the luck with them, they had injuries and so on. But the impression in the streets, is that it's time for things to change. And of course when that happens, the impression that the grass is green on the other side succeeds. So, new coach, Paco Lopez from the B side, will be in charge of Levante for the last 11 games of the season. Doesn't always work. Look at, I don't know, Oxford, for instance. Didn't work when Pep Clotet left. And it was only then that perhaps people realized that Pep Clotet was doing a better season than people made out to be. Maybe he was punching over his weight. You never know. But Levante have made a change, and now they've got 11 weeks to make sure that the dynamic changes a little bit and they don't go down. So that's it this week for La Liga. I'm gonna go for the walk I was meant to do, which is walking by the beach, but it was windy, so I came back and I gave you this fantastic background of a supermarket right there. I'll speak to you later. Bye.